How are your balls spinning today, mid-football fans? We
Aloha.
are back with episode 8 of the mid-football review. What's going on, B?
Not shit. Had a good weekend in football. In
Well,
both
that's good.
footballs.
That's good. I think we're
Barca
going to
beat Real Madrid 4-0.
I
Ten
think we're
Hag
going
got sacked. Fuck you, bald ass motherfucker. The Lions
My
came to
Dodgers
see
are on the brink of winning the World Series.
that they are.
But before we get into all that, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so you aren't missing an episode or when we go live. Also, share the stream. That's how we get more viewers. We go live
Yes.
every Tuesday somewhere around 3 unless something comes up. And leave us a comment on what you think about the show. I also want to give a special shout out to my boy Matthew, who is the host of Graps TV over there on YouTube. You can find him discussing wrestling. Go give him a listen and support his endeavors. So, as usual, we're going to get into our first segment of the show, which we call the good and bad of the football weekend. You want to go first?
The good. The Detroit Lions special teams. They put up more yards than we had altogether on offense.
I don't know whose special team I'd want more, the Steelers right now or the Lions.
Anybody but Tennessee.
Well, yeah, probably.
Tennessee has the worst special teams in the NFL.
That all you got?
Yes.
For my
Uh,
bad, I've got the Jags seem to have a permanent place on the bad list for me. This week they still suck, and Lawrence is not worth the contract.
I could have told you that one.
My good, Michigan beating little brother again, which we'll discuss more in our college football segment. Bad, Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson.
We'll
You
get
are
into
a
that.
you are a pathetic type of quarterback.
We will get into that because I also have some thoughts, but I will share them when we talk about the Colts.
Yes, but I'm gonna go ahead and read what I wrote. You tapped out because you were out of breath. You are supposed to be an athlete. Do the Colts not have a conditioning department that helps their players condition? Colts bench this pathetic quarterback and put in Flacco. My good. TJ what? Putting the nail in the coffin to the Giants' awful season.
I think the nail in the coffin was after preseason, but sure.
So let's move on to our weekly rant.
I don't have one.
I have one. This weekly's rant goes to none other than your local team, the Carolina Panthers.
Besides them sucking, I don't have nothing to rant about because I don't give a fuck about them.
Quarterback J.C. Horn confronted Broncos head coach Sean Payton after the game to let him know they didn't appreciate the Broncos running up the score.
You
The,
lost by
Bro-
14.
the Broncos ran a fake field goal and a trick play on 4th and 2 while up 28-7 in the fourth quarter. You cry because the Broncos ran up the score. Guess what? If you don't want the score ran up on you, stop the other team from scoring.
Play
Stop
better
being
football.
pussies. I mean, I know you're cats, but do you have to express the pussy part of being a pussycat? Grow some balls, be men, and take the loss. You couldn't stop a damn Pee Wee team from running up the score on you currently. And I agree with Sean Payton saying it's the NFL. Play better.
Yep.
That's my weekly rant.
But you don't see Tennessee players crying that Detroit put 52 up on them. I mean, the fans are. But I mean, there was only one Tennessee fan I knew, and that was my uncle.
And he wouldn't be crying about that. He'd be like, we should have played better.
But we will get more into that in a bit.
So now we're going to transition into college football. And I do have a topic to discuss.
And what is that?
Kurt Sagnetti is the first ever D1 head coach to start 8-0 in consecutive seasons at different schools.
Where was he at last season?
JMU.
Oh. Yeah.
And now he's at Indiana. And I think before he was at JMU, he was here at Elon.
Nice.
And that's the only thing I got for college. So now it's all you, Brendan.
Okay, college games from last week. We beat Little Brother. The score was. Give me a second because neither team is ranked, so they don't. 24-17. We're 5-3 now. We win another game, we get locked into a bowl game. As long as we make a bowl game this season, it won't be a complete waste. But we do win 24-17. So go blue. Illinois went out to Eugene, Oregon, and they got killed. 38-9 was the final score. The Ducks continue to be the best team in college football. Penn State beats Wisconsin by 15. Ohio State survives Nebraska somehow. Texas beats Vandy by 3. A&M beats LSU. And Texas A&M is on top of the SEC. And Bama put a ass whooping on Missouri in final game. Let's see, what do we want to talk about? We'll talk about the Pitt game because Pitt put an ass whooping on Syracuse, 41-13. So Pitt, I think this is the first time they started 7-0 in like a very long time. Like a very long time.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But this week, we got some big time matchups. We got Oregon coming to Ann Arbor, and the last time Oregon came to Ann Arbor, it wasn't pretty. We don't talk about that 2007 season. Ohio State has the Happy Valley. Both teams need to lose. Fuck Ohio State and fuck Penn State. Ole Miss has the Fayetteville to take on Arkansas. We do get Florida and Georgia this week at Everbank. Texas A&M has the Williams-Brice to take on South Carolina. We get Louisville versus Clemson and Pittsburgh versus SMU, which could have major ACC title implications. So, that is a game that you might want to be paying attention to, and it's supposed to rain during that game.
Ooh, a sloppy game.
So, and both are ranked in the top 20. Pittsburgh's 18, SMU is 20.
Ooh.
So, and just so I'm correct, yes, this they are two of the final four remaining undefeated teams in the ACC in
Nice.
conference.
Nice.
So, go Pitt.
Go Pitt.
But, anyways, what's next?
Football. And by football, I mean NFL football.
We like NFL football.
We do like NFL football to the point I have 60 topics to discuss.
Jesus.
Actually, more because I found more a while ago.
God damn, lady.
So, let's get to rolling. First up, I want to talk about my Steelers. Yay, Steelers. They have 22 straight home wins on Monday Night Football, and they have not lost since 1991 when I was a sophomore in high school. And that loss was to none other than the New York Football Giants, which they beat last night.
Well,
Next, next, Cam Hayward has the most games played for a defensive player for the Steelers. Congrats, Cam. TJ Watt does not get enough love for how legendary of a player he is. Since 2019, TJ has had the most sacks at 83, the most forced fumbles at 24, and the most QB hits at 178.
good for him, I guess.
Sorry, Hutch, you ain't reaching those numbers.
Yeah, he is.
Russell Wilson in 2 games has 489 yards passing, 3 TDs, and no interceptions. Did the Steelers make the right choice?
Um, I think they did because that deep ball to who was it? Van Jefferson last
Mhm.
night. Justin Fields isn't going to make that throw.
I will say I like how Smith is w- working the offense around whatever quarterback is in. And I honestly think that Justin Fields sitting behind Russ Wilson will be a good thing because I think Chicago did damage to him as in football. So him sitting behind a veteran like a Russell Wilson and learning, I think probably could make him a better quarterback in the future. And he's not that old.
No, he's in his early 20s,
I don't say he's like what, 25 maybe?
something like that. Cat, can you stop?
Next, we're going to talk about one of the shining lights on the Steelers' defensive side of the ball that is not named TJ Watt, and that is Benny Bishop,
Oh,
who
I was
has
gonna say future Lion Alex Highsmith.
no, who has 3 interceptions in the last 2 Steelers games. Last night, Joey Porter led the crowd in waving our terrible towels. And as the linebacker circle do their pregame hype, TJ Watt called Joey Porter over to get into the circle. Talk about a hype man. And us Steeler fans, we could not have asked for a better Sunday because both Ravens and the Bengals lost.
Uh,
Anything you
yeah.
want to say on the Steelers that's not
Uh,
related to the in-game stuff?
I think besides Kansas City, Pittsburgh might be the best team in the AFC.
I kind of agree with that, and I think they could actually beat Kansas City, which we're going to talk about later. Anyway, is Daniel Jones' time as a Giant over after this season?
He looked good last night. I'm not. He threw one bad ball all game, just so happened to be a pick. Which the ball was tipped by his own player. So now, could he have thrown it a little bit lower? Sure. But I think the pocket was collapsing and he had to get it out. But Jones did not look bad.
Next, we're going to move into some Dallas Cowboy talk. So, a reporter is saying there's turmoil in the Dallas locker room. Do you
I
see
could have
that?
told you that one.
I'm going to read a statement. I want you to fill in the blank. The Cowboys are
Terrible.
Dallas cornerback Trayvon Diggs confronted a reporter who questioned his effort on a play against the 49ers. This is what Diggs says. That's what you got from that whole play. The reporter responded with, "We can talk more. We can talk about it more." Diggs responded to, "Talk about these nuts."
Yep. Yep.
Should the Cowboys reprimand him for that?
They won't. Because
Moving
it's
on to every
Dallas and they aren't going
yeah,
to do jack shit.
moving on to everybody's favorite Sunday night commentator, Chris the Idiot Collinsworth, said that there would be a bidding war for Dak Prescott if he was a free agent. Well, what the fuck is he smoking?
Apparently something good.
He need to share that something good because the way Dak's been playing, ain't nobody wanting him.
Well,
Do you do you feel that it is time for the Cowboys to move on from Mike McCarthy?
no.
Do you want them to keep Mike McCarthy so they'll keep
Mm-hmm.
losing and help your Lions?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I see how you're working there, buddy.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It seems like Mr. Automatic has not been so automatic this year. And by Mr. Automatic, I am referring to Ravens kicker Justin Tucker. He is 3 of 10 on attempts from 50 or more yards over the last 2 seasons. Is it time for the Ravens to get a new kicker?
Nope. I'm kidding. It
Now,
probably is.
he's been there a while, ain't he?
Like his whole career.
Now, moving on to my co host's favorite team.
The
Are
Lions.
the Lions are the Lions getting some luck? They avoided linebacker Malcolm Rodriguez getting seriously hurt as he avoided a high ankle sprain and will likely only miss week 9 and should return in week 10.
Uh, if that's called luck, then I guess.
Over the past 5 games, the Detroit Lions have had 25 TDs, 20 interceptions. They are the first team since the merger with more TDs than interceptions in a 5-game span.
Good for us.
The Lions have 5 sacks since Hutch went out. They have won both games, but only 1 sack is by a defensive lineman. Should the GM act this week to get a filler for Hutch?
Yes. Been saying
But
this. Yes.
the Lions are a 4-point favorite over rival Green Bay next Sunday. How do you feel?
Fuck Green Bay. Fuck them. We're gonna beat them. Because Green Bay sucks.
Could the Detroit Lions be the team? How do I word this? Could the Detroit Lions be the team that has turned their reputation around? Through the last 7 games over the last 4 seasons, this is the Lions record. 2021, 0-7. 2022, 1-6. 2023, 5-2. 2024, 6-1. Should the city of Detroit and the state of Michigan be thanking Dan Campbell and Sheila Ford Hamp for this?
Yes.
Is the Lions the best team in the NFL?
Yes.
Can you say anything other than yes?
The Lions are winning the Super Bowl.
Running back Jamar Gibbs hit 22.3 miles per hour on his 70-yard TD run, which is the second fastest ball carrier speed recorded in the NFL this year, and is the fastest Lions ball carrier since the 2019 season when NGS started tracking mile per hour. Jared Goff has the highest completion percentage at 83, pass rating at 146.5 in 5 games. Do you think David Montgomery is one of the best free
He
agent
is.
signings the Lions made?
He is the best free agent signing.
The Lions aren't just trying to win, they are trying to embarrass teams. They have a plus 73 point differential the last 3 weeks, 40 points plus in 3 of the last 4 games. Should they tone it down?
Fuck no.
Are the Lions the most complete team in the NFL?
Yes.
Offense, defense, and special teams.
Yes.
The Lions really went from cursed to cursor. Did you pray for times like this?
Yes.
The teams that played the Lions 1 week are now 0-5 the next week. The Rams lost to the Cards, the Bucks lost to the Broncos, the Cards lost to the Redskins, and the Seahawks lost to the Giants. The Cowboys had a bye week and the Vikings lost to the Rams. Would you rather be the cursor or the cursed?
The cursor.
What are you doing?
Doing stuff on my laptop.
What? No shit, Sherlock. I can see that. Are we playing video games?
No.
Hmm. Do you think Woody Johnson overreacted when he fired Saleh and has it blown up in his face and doomed his team for the season?
The Jets are going to be shit anyways, so. Now they're just shit with Devontae Adams.
If the Jets lose Thursday and the starting quarterback of a playoff contender gets injured before Tuesday, do you see the Jets possibly trading Aaron Rodgers?
No. Nope. They're not going to.
Is Aaron Rodgers the most disappointing player in the NFL this season?
I would say Patrick Mahomes. I would say Mahomes is probably the most disappointing player this season. In my personal opinion.
Would it be a slap in the face if Coach Saleh ends up getting a ring in Green Bay if they win the Lombardi this year?
Too bad they're not. Too bad they aren't.
Despite the Jets being 22-52, their ticket increase has been 52% over the last 4 years. Who the
New
fuck is
York
paying to go see them?
New York fans are loyal.
Shannon Sharp is no fan of Aaron Rodgers, and he quoted, "It couldn't happen to a more smug, cavalier, condescending guy. You're running out of people to fire or demote."
It's not wrong.
Devontae Adams has had an awful last 2 weeks. Lost to the Steelers, got traded to the Jets, who lost to the Steelers, then lost to the awful Patriots. His stats since the trade: 3 receptions, 43% catch rate, and an average of 34 total yards per game. Do you think it was the right move?
He went to a 2-5 team to being on a 2-5 team with his friends.
Do you think both Adams and Rodgers regret coming to the Jets?
I think anybody who signs with the Jets regrets going to the Jets.
Should the Jets trade Rodgers at the deadline?
Nobody wants him.
Let me give you a scenario. Would Rodgers to the Vikings be the perfect ending? He would then be able to perfectly immaculate Favre's career. He'd have a legendary career with the Packers, debated on retiring multiple times, got traded to the Jets and it blew up, and he ended up finishing his career with the Vikings.
No.
The Jets are 0-3 since the Saleh firing and were favored to win in 2 of those games. Is that karma?
What 2 games?
They were favored to beat the Patriots.
Well, everybody's favored to beat the Patriots besides like Carolina. I don't know. The Jets suck. They've always sucked.
The Jets have now lost 5 straight games. They were 2-6 after 8 games. They were 4-4 after 8 games last season when they swore the quarterback and head coach were the issue. Instead of getting better with Rodgers, it's gotten significantly worse. They mortgaged it all for Rodgers, and for what?
For being bad.
The Jets used all 3 of their timeouts in the first quarter due to miscommunication between Rodgers and company. How does that happen with a veteran quarterback like Rodgers?
Because they suck. That's the only reason they have now. The Jets aren't a good football team. They haven't been a good football team. They never will be a good football team.
Should the NFL suspend Saints DT Nathan Shepard for his apparent attempt to injure Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert?
Yeah, that was bullshit. There's no reason for doing that. It's just straight up bullshit.
Are the Rams currently in selling mode? They have given cornerback Tre'Davious White permission to seek a trade.
No, because they are currently tied, or not tied, but they still have a shot to win the division. And I think given any shot to win a division, you have to take it.
The Browns have told Jameis Winston he is the starter going forward. He should have been the starter from the beginning. He has had 4 TDs and 0 interceptions.
Well, that is something that is entertaining because Deshaun Watson ranked as the 3rd worst quarterback out of like 250 over the past 20 years. So, yeah, isn't that fun?
Since their bye week, the Eagles' defense has been dominant. First in points allowed, first in yards allowed per game, first in defensive success rate, second in sacks per game, second in EPA play allowed, 5th in red zone scoring percentage. Would you want to face the Eagles right now?
Yeah, because they're still not better than the Lions.
Do you think Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers are comparable?
At being gas,
Brady went into Rodgers' conference, the NFC, immediately won a Super Bowl. Rodgers went into Brady's conference, the AFC, and has struggled to win regular season games. Brady
oh,
equals winner, Rodgers equals I don't know.
Rodgers equals system quarterback. That's exactly what he is, and he will always be a system quarterback.
The lowest completion percentage in a season among qualified QBs over the last 20 years. And number one is Anthony Richards with a 44.4% in 2024. Tim Tebow is at number two with 46.5 in 2011. Jamarcus Russell at 48.8 in 2009. And JP Lossman at 49.6 in 2005. Anthony Richardson is in great company. In response to being asked about being in that company, Richardson responded and said, I can play football. Really? Doesn't look like it. I've been doing it my whole life. Hey, Anthony, can't tell it. I don't necessarily look at numbers. No, but your GM and your owner does when it comes to contract time. And you are no Michael Vick, so do not even compare yourself to Michael Vick.
I hope he's not comparing himself to Michael Vick because
I mean, on a
that would.
football field. On a football field.
I was about to say that wouldn't be a good thing unless you like
On
dog fighting.
football. Football.
Unless you like dog fighting.
Anthony Richards tapping out because he was tired. Who knew this was a thing in the NFL? What message does this send to the team?
Since that he's not the fucking leader.
And here's your chance to go on about it.
Well, I was gonna wait till we like actually got to the Colts game. But no, it just proves he's not a leader on the field. And in the NFL, that's what you have to be to win football games and to have the locker room behind you. And if you don't have the locker room behind you, then you're not gonna make it long in football, especially the NFL.
So on
Because the
that note,
quarterback is the captain of the team. You
so
lead
on
the
that note,
offense out there every week.
so on that note, do you think he's a bust and should the Colts look to trade or draft a replacement?
It's too early in his career to draft a replacement or trade him.
So what do you
You
do?
develop him like they should have done. And not throw him out there to the fucking fishes and let him sink. It's exactly what they should have done.
Should they do that with every quarterback that you draft?
Well, you gotta also realize they signed Joe Flacco, so have Flacco help him in his development. Okay. And then boom. You can't do that with every quarterback because it's not the 70s anymore. But you can if you have a quarterback, for instance, like Green Bay did. They had Brett Favre. Well, they drafted Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers sat behind Favre for a few seasons. Then they drafted Jordan Love. He sat behind Aaron Rodgers for a few seasons. So if you have a quarterback like that who you know is good and can help develop young talent, then yes, draft a quarterback. But if not, and if you really need one, he's going to start right out the gate. It's what the Bears did with Caleb Williams.
Can
It's
we
what
see how well that's
Washington did with
working?
Jaden Daniels.
Which we're going to talk about them too later on. Sounds like you know a little bit about something. I'm impressed. That college education is working.
No, I just know about football.
The 5 teams with the worst record in the last 20 years. Number 1, the Browns. They're 111, 212 and 1. The Raiders are 120 and 201. The Jaguars are 122 and 202. The Lions are 126, 196 and 2 ties. The Jets are 131 and 94 and 194. This season, the Browns, the Jags, the Jets, and the Raiders are all 2-6. So bad teams stay bad, except for the Lions, who are dominant this season. So what happened with the Lions that didn't happen with these other teams?
Coaching and management. That's exactly what happened. And they actually did something called drafting talented players that fit what they wanted to do.
Should the NFL flex the Week 11 game from the Colts Jets to the Chiefs Bills?
Yes. I mean, shit, they should flex the fucking Green Bay Detroit game this week.
The highest pass rating this season with a minimum of 30 attempts. Malik Willis at 130.3, Lamar Jackson at 115.4, and Jared Goff at 115.3. I think your MVP is going to come down to Lamar or Goff.
Goff's winning it.
When did Brock Purdy turn into Michael Vick? His legs have changed the 49ers offense, giving them a new weapon. Is Purdy an underrated athlete, and now they can do RPO and bootlegs?
That's just how offenses are being ran now. There's a lot of RPOs and bootlegs because bootlegs means play action.
How stupid are NFL teams? Why would you return a kick with only 24 seconds left in the game? The odds of you getting a major kick return is not high. Instead, all you're doing is wasting time.
For better field position. That's exactly why.
Has the Broncos QB Bo Nix been the best rookie quarterback this month? His stats are 7 touchdowns, which is ranking first. His pass touchdown interception is 7-1. His passing yards is 870. He has 2 rushing touchdowns and 3 wins. So is he the best rookie quarterback of this month?
I mean, anybody is better than Caleb Williams, so sure.
With the Jags losing on Sunday, is their season over?
Their season's been over.
And they lost their wide receiver, Kirk, who was in a sling after Sunday's loss, and it is said that he broke his collarbone. Also, their quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, has 22 career fumbles, which is the most in franchise history. Is it time to move on? Not after what
Sure.
they paid him, but it should have been.
Sure.
So after the remarkable ending to the Redskins game, Commanders game, a fan caught 4 guys walking out of the stadium with brand new Jaden Daniels jerseys, and the tags were still attached. They went from Hail Mary to shop and got new jerseys.
Whatever works.
Who is the clear number 1 rookie quarterback? Caleb or Jaden? And did the Bears
Jaden.
screw up by not taking Jaden?
Jaden Daniels.
And did the Bears screw up by not taking Jaden?
Hey, the Bears are gonna bear.
The Bears DB Stevenson was mocking Redskin fans during the Hail Mary and ended up being the one that tipped the ball into the air, allowing Noah Brown to catch it for the remarkable comeback win for Washington. Is that karma?
Yeah.
Of the following teams without a Super Bowl win, which do you think has the best chance to win their first Super Bowl? The
Detroit.
Bengals? Can I get through the names?
No.
The Bengals, the Panthers, the Falcons, Cardinals, Chargers, Jaguars, Vikings, Titans, Texans, Bills, or Lions?
It's Detroit.
I'm going to go with the Texans.
Well, they just lost Stephon Diggs and they don't have Nico Collins, so.
Carly, what are you doing? Is it crazy that Malik Willis and Patrick Mahomes are the only two undefeated quarterbacks right now in the NFL?
Well, Mahomes is getting bailed out by the refs.
Well, we're going to talk about that. So Mahomes has thrown an interception in every game this season with a total of 9. My question to you, Brendan, is he really a good quarterback, or is he good because of the players around him and the system he's in?
Well, for the quarterback to be good, the system does matter, but also you can be a bad quarterback in a good system and still be bad. For instance, Brock Purdy. I don't think he's good. So if you put him in any other system and you don't give him 8 Pro Bowl offensive players with him, he's not good. And Mahomes has been able to play good without a true. His number one wide receiver was Juju Smith-Schuster
Former Steeler.
last season when they won the Super Bowl. They've won 2 Super Bowls without Tyreek Hill, and it's because of Mahomes. Mahomes is good. I don't like Kansas City, but Mahomes is one of the best quarterbacks.
Could the Chiefs go undefeated this season? And if not, who do you see beating them? So their remaining opponents are Tampa Bay, Denver, Buffalo, Carolina, Las Vegas, Chargers, Cleveland, Houston, Pittsburgh, and Denver.
Pittsburgh.
What happened in Seattle? You have the players fighting each other on the sideline. Has Seattle lost their culture?
Detroit broke them.
Something I never thought I would say. Thank you, Brownies, for beating the Ravens on Sunday. As a Steeler fan, I hate both of y'all.
Go Ravens.
The Browns coach stated that Watson gave them the best chance to win. Watson would not have led the team on a winning drive, nor would he have thrown the ball deep like Winston. Do you agree with that assessment?
Deshaun Watson should just stay to.
I didn't say nothing.
Deshaun Watson's never playing football again.
Oh,
The
that leads
Linkin
into
Park
my next
album is being
question.
described as banger after banger.
What?
No, they're doing the fucking. Linkin Park did their fucking, what do you call it, album party today in London.
Oh. So that leads to my next question. Can the Browns go back to Watson after what Winston did Sunday? Which you answered. Should the NFL add a second bye week?
Uh, no. The NFL should go back to 16 games.
Andrew Van Ginkel was not re-signed by the Dolphins this offseason. He now has more touchdowns than any Miami player as a defensive end for the Vikings. Was that a bad move for Miami?
Any move's a bad move for Miami because listen to this. They had Dan Campbell as their interim head coach. Well, he led that team to being 5-7 and barely missing the playoffs. They didn't hire him. They also didn't hire Mike Tomlin because he was too pop culture. And what has Miami done since then?
Sucked.
A whole lot of nothing. And they might be getting rid of
And what has Tomlin
Mike
done?
Daniels.
And what has Tomlin done since then?
Made it to 2 Super Bowls, won a Super Bowl, has a over 500 record, never had a losing season. Oh, what has Dan Campbell done since then? Turn the worst NFL franchise around to where teams are scared to play us now? Where
So
it's
Dan
not,
Campbell,
oh, we circle the Lions and it's an easy win. It's, oh, we circle the Lions, we might get our fucking asses kicked.
so Dan Campbell deserves a round of applause. How does it feel from going from being the laughing stock of the NFL to being, oh shit, do we have to play the Lions this week?
It feels great.
I mean, given that you've only been a Lions fan for like 20 some years.
22 years.
What is the second most important position in the NFL after the quarterback in your position?
Ooh. I would have to say somebody on the offensive line. Because you can't have a good run game with no help on the O line. So that's
So
important.
a good center, a good
Also,
left,
a
right
good guard.
tackle,
A
guard.
good guard. Either one, you could flip them.
That's not what I thought you would say.
What do you think I would say?
I figured you would go with running back.
Well, the running back also depends on your O line. And the O line allows you time, allows your quarterback time to get rid of the ball.
I think I'd have to say tackle because you need a good tackle coming off the edge where that has a chance at sacking the opposing quarterback.
Yeah.
Do you agree many NFL fans are upset that they see too much of Jason Kelsey on TV? Or
No,
do you
I
think
like Jason Kelsey.
I was gonna say, or do you think you need to see more Jason Kelsey?
You need to see more of Jason Kelsey.
Are the NFL refs the worst of any sport?
I don't know. MLB umpires are really up there.
Should penalties under the 2-minute warning be reviewable, aka face mask to Sam Darnold?
No, fuck Minnesota. But no, every penalty should be reviewed.
Do you think the 2023 quarterback draft class was awful? Out of that class, you had CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, Will Levis, Anthony Richardson, and Hendon Hooker.
Well, Hendon Hooker hasn't played a full game yet. Remember when I said that you have to have a good quarterback and then you can draft a quarterback
Mhm.
to develop? That is what
Mhm.
Goff is doing with Hendon Hooker.
So they're letting him sit behind Golf, and him and Golf are discussing stuff and
Hmm.
going over plays and stuff, kind of like Russ and Fields was last night at the Steeler game.
Because Fields, or not Fields, Goff. Hooker, once he's ready, he's also going to bring something to the Lions offense that we haven't seen before, and that's a mobile quarterback.
I was gonna say a running quarterback.
And Hendon Hooker was good in college. I fucking loved him at Tennessee.
Yeah, you were kind of happy when they drafted him.
Hmm. So,
Okay, so we'll take Hendon Hooker out of the equation because he ain't really started. So out of Anthony Richardson, Will Levis, C.J. Stroud, and Bryce Young, was the class still awful? Really,
the, the
really,
only
the
good
only one that's
quarterback
been
there,
decent was C.J.
Richardson's been benched. Bryce Young got benched. Will Levis got benched for Mason Rudolph.
Yeah, you got to be bad to get benched for Mason Rudolph.
Which, okay, Mason isn't a bad quarterback. I
No,
will
he's
say that.
not.
Given the right system, Mason can actually do good.
Do you
But
think the Broncos pushed a false narrative to push Russell Wilson out of Denver, and now he's playing like he did in his Seattle days?
I think the way Russ plays and the way Sean Payton wanted to run the team didn't mesh well together. And well, Nathaniel Hackett's just a terrible head coach, so I'm not blaming that first season on Russ at all. That's on Nathaniel Hackett being a bad head coach. But you just can't expect to have every player in your system be good in that said system. You got to let the quarterback play to his strengths, and I don't think Sean Payne was doing that with Russell Wilson.
And before we
Whereas
get into oh,
Arthur
go
Smith
ahead.
is. And that's where Arthur Smith is doing, is letting Russ play like Russ.
And before we get into our review of the NFL games for week 8, I have a question for you, Brendan. What was the single greatest year in your lifetime as a sports fan?
But it's not the 2012 Detroit Tigers because we got swept in the World Series. It's not the 2006 Detroit Tigers because we also lost the World Series. Could be the '08 Wings because we won the Cup. Or the 2021 NASCAR Cup Series season where Kyle Larson won 10 races in the Cup Series championship.
And there may or may not be video of you running out of the house
Don't
waving the
know
Kyle Larson flag.
don't know what you're talking about. Have no idea what you're
Oh,
talking
no,
about.
no, I've got video proof of that.
Nope. Don't know what you're talking. I would do no such thing.
Mhm.
You
Keep
know
on
the
talking
only
and I will put that shit up on Twitter.
the only thing that could top that.
The Lions winning the Super Bowl.
Like, I was more excited about Larson winning the Cup Series championship than Michigan winning the national championship.
Oh yeah, you had tears in your eyes when Larson won.
Yeah, because I finally got to see my favorite NASCAR Cup driver win a championship. Granted, I did watch Stewart win one in 2011, but with Larson, it's different. Larson's the reason why I got back into NASCAR.
This is not a NASCAR stream. This is a football stream. So
Well,
moving
you
on.
you
I know.
asked, I gave you my answer.
I know. I'm just messing with you, Bree. So moving on. Give us our games and let's talk about them.
Okay, Thursday night started with the Lions curse happening again. The Rams beat Minnesota 30-20. And yeah, there was a missed face mask on Sam Darnold that led to a safety. But Sam Darnold wasn't going to lead a 98-yard drive to begin with.
No, but my issue is the ref was standing right there and then he comes out and says, I didn't see it. How the fuck you not see it when you are standing right the fuck there?
Football just
Are
happens
you
like
Helen
that.
Keller? Are you Stevie Wonder? Are you Charles Price?
Football just happens like that. And I understand why refs miss calls.
I get you miss a call, but you are fucking standing right there looking at the dude. A dude's head normally does not turn like that on its own.
Of course they see Milan's losing, because why the fuck aren't they losing? Team gets carried by Christian Pulisic anyways. But moving on. The Lions beat the Tennessee Titans 52-14, with Jared Goff going 12 for 15, 85 yards and 3 touchdowns, and David Montgomery threw a touchdown, and Jahmyr Gibbs had a rushing touchdown. And Khalif Raymond had over 200 return yards. Or no, he was 14 yards away from breaking the all-time record. I want to say he had like 180 something. You give me a second, I can tell you that. Zach.
All I got to say, while you look that up, all I got to say is the Lions are scary this year, and like they're I really think people are underestimating them, and they're finally waking up, going, "Oh shit, it's not the same old Lions."
So here we go. Khalil Dorsey had 72 yards on 1 kickoff return. On 5 punt returns, Khalif Raymond had 190 yards and a touchdown. He averaged 38 yards per return. And he had a reception touchdown.
Wow.
And here's another fun stat. Jack Fox punted 5 times, had 305 yards punting.
Wow.
The Lions only gave up 24 punt yard returns,
Damn.
with the longest being 11.
Well, in their defense, they were playing Tennessee, right?
It just goes to show you that Jack Fox also averaged 61 yards per punt. He is the best punter in football, and he pinned them inside the 20 3 times.
Lions are just clicking on all cylinders. Hopefully they
Without our
can
best defensive player, too.
hopefully they can keep the momentum up and take them all the way to a Super Bowl. Hope they don't
Yeah,
cool off at the wrong time.
we're not. Not with Dan Campbell in charge. Anyways, moving on. Philly puts an ass whooping on Cincinnati. Philly wins
Yay.
37-17.
Yay.
Baltimore drops the game to Cleveland, meaning Pittsburgh has sole possession of the North.
We love our Steelers.
Tua came back, and well, they lost on a last-second field goal to the NFC West leaders, the Arizona Cardinals, 28-27, and Tua had to scramble on a play and slid, and everybody at Hard Rock Stadium cheered.
Because he didn't get hurt.
For one. Next up we have shit versus ass as the Jets took on the Patriots, and the Patriots won 25-22 as Stevenson gets a touchdown within the final seconds to win the game. For the second time in 3 weeks, Tampa Bay drops another game to Atlanta, and Kirk Cousins throws for 4 touchdowns, winning 31-26. For the second straight week, Green Bay wins on a walk-off field goal. They beat Jacksonville 30-27. Choo-choo, Houston beats Indy 23-20, and they are down another wide receiver because Nico Collins is hurt and Stephon Diggs tore his ACL and is out for the rest of the season.
Boo.
The Chargers beat the Saints 26-8. I didn't watch that game. Good for them. The Bills win.
That's Bobby's team.
The Bills win 31-10 over Seattle. Seattle sucks. Detroit broke Seattle.
What's happened to Seattle? They should have never let Pete Carroll go.
I feel like Pete was going to retire anyways. He was like 90 years old.
He wasn't that old. He was like 70 something.
That's still old. Denver wins 28-14 over Carolina. I mean, Carolina got a touchdown in the final second. Or not the final second, but the final minute of the game. They weren't going to come back.
Just because I hate Carolina.
So Denver goes to 5-3.
So that puts them where in the AFC West?
That puts them second.
I was thinking they were second behind the Chiefs.
They are the 5 seed in the playoffs right now.
When do they play Kansas City?
They don't play Kansas City until
the end of the season.
Let's see, we are in.
We're starting week 9. This coming Sunday will be week 9.
They don't play them until November 10th, and then they play them the final game of the season. They play them in 2 weeks.
So that game might have a lot. That game might be interesting. Denver might pull an upset if they keep on the same track.
Speaking of the Chiefs, they advanced to 7-0 as they beat the Raiders 27-20. And okay, I know, yes, the Reds have helped Kansas City a lot. And yes, people are bitching about the hit on Mahomes, but that is roughing the passer. Mahomes already threw the ball, and the dude from Vegas continued to run at Mahomes and hit Mahomes. That is roughing the passer. I hate to say it, but that is roughing the passer. That, for once, was the right call for Kansas City.
No, what? Mahomes should have got his fat ass out of the way.
That's not how that works. Especially when...
Why is that not how it works? He seen the dude coming, he should have got out of the way.
How's Mahomes supposed to see the dude with his back to him?
They say he's got eyes in the back of his head.
Nobody has eyes in the back of their head. Anyways, it's time to laugh at Chicago for losing on the last second Hail Mary because fuck you, Chicago. Washington wins 18-15 on the last second. I think I'm gonna call it the Miracle in DC. Or the Washington Miracle. Whatever one works. Or what I call it, fuck you, Chicago, you suck.
Fuck
That's
you,
what I like
Chicago,
calling.
you suck.
That's what I like calling that play.
Okay, can we talk about this game for a little bit? A, them uniforms the Redskins are wearing, because I would not call them the commies. I kinda like them. I kinda
I do
dig the
like them.
all black uniform. Like, they kinda looked badass. Also, are the Redskins for real, and do they have a chance to compete in the NFC North? I mean, in the NFC, because 'cause I'm pretty sure it's the Lions division or conference to lose right now.
Well, I think they are leading the East. It's either them or Philly, but I think it's them. But they play Pittsburgh in 2 weeks, and that's going to be a big game for Washington. And it's at home. I mean, if they just compete with Pittsburgh, then they might be going to the playoffs. But if they let Pittsburgh come in and just do what they want, then I think Washington needs to. Washington right now is where the Lions were the second year of the rebuild, but just a tad bit better under Dan Campbell. Like, we started off 1-6, we flipped it around and finished 9-7. Now, I'm not
Ah,
saying Washington's going to lose 5 games. I mean, it's possible they lose 5 games. With, I still think, let's see, they have to play Pittsburgh, they have to play Philly twice, they have
yeah, but see, they
Tennessee,
always play Philly tough, so those games are a toss-up.
and depending what Dallas team shows up, they still have to play Dallas twice.
And they always play Dallas tough regardless of what their record was. Like, the Redskins could suck, but you could definitely count on them beating the Cowboys once.
So hold on, one. We'll say they split with Philly, so there's 2. So that would put them at 4 losses. They might split the Cowboys 3 losses and lose to Atlanta. They're 6. So they could go 11-6. They got the Saints, Tennessee. They play the Giants this week. They got Tennessee. Tennessee sucks. So there is a clear path where Washington, I'm not saying they're going to win the NFC, but there is a path for them to win the NFC.
I'm gonna make a prediction for the NFC Conference Championship. I'm right now. I'm looking at the Redskins and the Lions.
Well, you know who won't be going there? Because they
The
fell to
Crack
3 and
Wagon.
4. The San Francisco 49ers beat the Dallas Cowgirls, Cowboys 30-24, and Dak Prescott sucks. And yeah, you have no run game.
And I want to say well wishes to uh Jerry Jones Jr. and Charlotte Jones, who were in a wreck prior to this game. So hope they're doing well and
Oh,
recovering from
and
their
real quick,
injuries.
shout out to Tre'Tavious Ward. His 1-year-old daughter passed away today, so that sucks. Feel bad for
Yeah, that
him.
sucks. I seen that.
So,
Thoughts and prayers to him and his
yep.
family. Yep.
And
Losing a kid sucks. I've never had to experience it, but I've seen my parents go through it twice. It sucks.
and ending week 9. The Pittsburgh Steelers beat the New York Giants 26-18 in a game that I thought was going to be a blowout. This game should have not been that close.
No, it shouldn't have been. And at first, it was like the battle of field goals, and I'm like, oh shit, it's gonna come down to us winning on nothing but field goals. And the George Pickens play where he tapped the same foot twice, and it doesn't count as being 2 feet in.
No, because with
Um,
both feet, it clearly
yeah,
says. both feet
Yeah, the
instead of
rule
2
book
feet.
clearly says you gotta have the left and the right, so I can't get mad at it, but, I
But
mean
also, that was just a nice defensive play by the Giants to not let him get his other foot in.
yeah.
But Pittsburgh goes to 6-2.
Yay! Go Steelers!
And now, here we go. Why is this team on prime time? The Houston Texans face the New York Jets. Um,
Thursday night?
yep.
I got a button for that.
I don't even know who the Texans wide receiver number 1 is now. Because they're without Nico and they're without Stephon.
If I'm their GM,
Robert Woods.
I am freaking calling people.
Robert Woods, Tank Dell, and Xavier Hutchinson. Oh, I forgot they had John Mechie.
If I'm the
But
GM, I am on the phone. I need a wide receiver. What do you want? This is what I can give.
give me Houston. I think their
Oh, we're
defense is
doing our
just
picks
gonna.
now?
Yeah.
Hold on. Hold on. I gotta bring this shit up, dude. Chill out. Oh, before you get into your picks, last week you went 10-6. I went 11-5.
Nice.
What game is this?
Houston and the Jets.
Who you taking?
Houston.
I think I'll take the Texans too. Next.
Starting off Sunday, which we will not be watching football Sunday because we will be at a NASCAR race.
I don't know. I mean, we might could pull it up on the phone.
The Dallas Cowboys take on the Atlanta Falcons. Give me Atlanta.
That's who I'm taking.
Miami heads to Buffalo. Give me the Bills.
I'm taking the Bills.
Vegas goes to Ohio to take on Cincinnati. Give me the Bengals.
Did I miss that game?
What game?
The Bengals. I must have. I'm gonna take the Bengals too because the Raiders suck.
Well, both suck. But
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying.
the Chargers head also to Ohio to take on the Browns. And give me the Chargers.
I'm taking the Chargers also.
The Patriots head to Nashville to take on Tennessee. Both teams suck. Give me New England.
What? The Patriots are playing who?
Tennessee.
Hmm. They're playing in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take the Titans.
Washington heads to MetLife to take on the Giants. So give me the commies.
I think I'm gonna take the Redskins, but I could see the Giants upsetting the Redskins because they always play each other tough.
The Saints play the Panthers in a game that's going to be terrible. Give me the Saints.
How am I
Especially
missing
with
all these games?
Carolina trading Deontay Johnson today to Baltimore.
I'm taking the Saints too because Carolina just sucks ass.
Starting at 4:05, we have Jacksonville taking on the Eagles. Give me the Eagles.
I'm taking Philly. I have no faith in Jacksonville anymore.
The next 4:05 game, we have the Bears taking on the Cardinals. Give me Arizona.
Taking the Cardinals? See if we can get Brendan back. So Brendan is having technical difficulties, it looks like. So he's working on that. So in the meantime, we will have to wait for Brendan to get back. Mm-mm-mm. Gotta love technical difficulties. Technology is such a wonderful thing. And it looks like Brendan might be back. Let's see.
They kicked me out. Who'd you say you were taking for the Bears Cardinals game?
The Bears.
Ill. Anyways, next up, the Rams face Seattle in Seattle. Give me the Rams.
I think I'm gonna take the Rams too. Next.
America's game of the week. Detroit heads to Ford Field West to take on Green Bay.
You're taking Green Bay
Yes.
because of your psychology.
Yes.
I'm taking the Lions.
And, well, I think the Detroit and Green Bay game should be the Sunday night game. But no, we get stuck with Indianapolis and Minnesota. So give me Indianapolis.
They're playing in Indy?
They're in Minnesota.
Oh, they're playing in Minnesota.
But Joe Flacco's starting.
Hmm.
So
I think
give
I'll
me
take.
Indy.
Yeah, I think I'll take the Colts.
And the Monday night game. Tampa Bay heads to Missouri to take on the Chiefs. Give me Kansas City because Tampa Bay is hurt. They don't have a wide receiver to throw the ball to. And there are two teams on a bye this week. One of them being the Steelers and the other one being San Francisco.
Who are the Ravens playing?
The Ravens are playing Denver,
Who are you taking?
Baltimore. Why would I take anybody else?
I don't know. Where do you pull your games up at?
ESPN.
I did too, but mine were all whack. Maybe I looked at the wrong thing.
It's possible.
Maybe I just looked at the wrong thing. I don't know. All right, so those are our picks for this week or this upcoming week. So, what are you looking for in week 9 games?
The Lions to beat Green Bay and have a commanding lead on the division.
And before we hit our closing segments, we're going to give y'all a little extra tonight, and we're going to discuss baseball.
Go Dodgers.
Go Dodgers. But New York City was the first metro area to lose a game in the MLB, MLS, NBA, and NFL all on the same day. This included regular season or postseason.
Sucks to suck.
Well, damn, Brendan.
Why?
Just it sucks to suck.
Yeah? Don't suck.
So, are the Dodgers winning tonight?
Yep.
And didn't you want to say something about the kid that caught Freddie Freeman's home run?
Oh, yeah. So his parents lied to him saying that they were going to, he had a dentist appointment, but took him to the World Series game instead. You know who that reminds me of?
I have no clue.
You know, somebody that kind of, you know, said something along the lines of, hey, we got to go run errands on the night an AEW event was taking place.
AEW is wrestling for those that don't know.
And we somehow magically ended up at an AEW event in Raleigh. So I don't know how exactly that happened, but I ain't complaining because I had fun.
I don't know who told you such a story.
I think the person that's the co-host of this podcast.
In my defense, I didn't buy the tickets and I was under strict rules from the queen of the family not to tell you. And
You don't
we
have
don't
to.
ever go against the queen of the family.
You don't have to listen.
Do you want the wrath of the queen of the family?
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Have you seen your nana get mad?
No, I haven't actually.
You don't want to. She's like a Texas tornado.
Interesting. But
Also, didn't somebody else do that to you regarding a NASCAR event?
oh yeah, you did do that to me regarding a NASCAR event. Because if I'm not mistaken,
It got snowed out on Sunday because it snowed in Martinsville.
that it did.
And your papa had to go to work on Monday, so he couldn't take you.
Nope.
And so what did you do?
Woke up, thought I was going to school, and ended up going to Martinsville.
No, before that. Well, and I kept telling you, I ain't got the money to take you to Martinsville. Well, call Papa, tell him to give you money and we can go. And I'm like, no, knowing Papa had done come by and dropped the tickets off. And I'm like, no. And then I put the tickets under your breakfast plate. And when you pick your breakfast plate to go put it in the kitchen, you see the tickets.
Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, she's just taunting me at this point. It's fucked up.
Hey, that's what mothers do.
Is it? But
yes, the AEW event, your face was priceless because you did not believe me. You thought I was lying to you. Would I lie to you, Brendan?
we just had a conversation about you lying to me.
Would I really lie to you?
We just had a conversation about you lying to me.
I really lie to you? If it wasn't for a good cause,
Was it a good cause?
the expression on your face was worth it. And I do have video to prove that too. But we've been streaming for almost an hour and 30. So we're going to go ahead and hit the close. And that is it for this week's episode of the Mid Football Review. Please like, subscribe, and share the show. We will greatly appreciate it. And we will be back next Tuesday discussing football. So, and we might throw some NASCAR in there since we will be at a NASCAR event.
Yep.
So, until then, keep on being mid and throwing those balls around. Make sure you follow us on our social medias, and we will see you next Tuesday for the mid football review. Anything
Goodbye,
you want to
people.
say?
Nope.